Hey, you know, a lot of my friends are talking about this empty nest syndrome. That's when all the kids grow up and they leave home and it's just you. But I want to talk about the stage before, because it's not just as simple as they've all left home. There's just the two of you, or just you alone. What gets you to that place? And how do you know when you've got there? I remember growing up, for me it was quite simple. I moved out on my wedding day. So it was a foregone conclusion. This is the date of the wedding and Maxine will be gone. And although physically I left home, mentally and emotionally I was still there and I still wanted my room. I still had my bedroom there and my bed. Except, I think it was the day after the wedding, Mum let me know that one of my brothers wanted to move back, and guess whose room he wanted? Mine. Oh, I created such a palaver, you should have seen me. Kicked up a right royal fuss. And then I had to apologise to him because, yes, we had our own little home now. And I should have moved out emotionally and not just physically with my little suitcase of clothes. But such a palaver I made about it. And same thing happened to me when my younger sister got married. She moved out on the wedding day. And as luck would have it, didn't the same brother want to move back and have her room as well? And the funny thing about that is I told her about my scenario. And she was like, well, Max, you didn't need the room anymore. And I just really struggled to explain to her how I hadn't emotionally detached. And, that was the challenge. See, when it was her turn, my sister was none too pleased, and after everything she said to me, I had to keep reminding her, but yeah, remember what you said, remember, it's just because you haven't emotionally detached, but he needed the room and blah, blah, blah. It's just really funny, but then that's it going nicely, you moving voluntarily. But a lot of the time, it's not that way at all. I would like that when my children decide they want to flee the nest and fly, that it's done in a nice way, that it's moving on to the next stage. And they can always come and visit whenever they want and I'll be happy to see them. That's what I'd love. And that's what I hope for. But we can't all see into the future and, for a lot of families, that transition is not easy at all. And the leaving home is not done with agreement. I remember families where it's a big hoo-ha and you could never come back around the house again, never want to see you again, give me back the key, all this sort of carrying on. It's not what you'd like, is it? But what takes you to that next stage? What makes people ready for that next stage? And will they be ready for it before you've got to a stage where you're ready for your next stage? It's a balance, isn't it? That takes negotiating, takes understanding, takes communicating. How do we get to that next stage? And do we want to? It is possible to love someone so much that you cripple and disable them. It's not a healthy place to be. So the empty nest syndrome. In the midst of a pandemic, who's going to flee the nest? And who's going to be destroying it? Everyone has their own pandemic to deal with, don't they? In their own way. Anyway, just some thoughts as I prepare for what many of my friends are experiencing. I prepare for that emptiness that is inevitable. I just think, wouldn't it be nice if when the time comes to flee the nest, It's a flight and not a drop. Anyway, enjoy your day. Like, please do share. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe. Out of here.